back.
Yeah, mic check, mic check, mic check. Man, we are back and we are officially live. Welcome to Kicking the Real podcast. I'm your host, Andy Diosa. If you're a first time listener, thank you for being here. And as always, if you're a multiple time listener, thank you for being here. It's the first episode of 2026, so happy new year, happy holidays, all that good stuff. I hope you guys had a great break. I'm here, and there's no better time than now to do it. If you are watching on YouTube, you know what I'm wearing. You can see it. If you are listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, I'm going to explain it for you in a second. But let me get this out the way real quick. It's about to be February, which means it's the 2-year anniversary of Kicking the Real podcast, which is absolutely crazy because this is just something that I started for fun a few years ago. And here I am, a few episodes in. I would say more than a few, but maybe I'm not as consistent as maybe some people would have wanted it to be, or maybe I am. I don't know. I said it from the beginning that it was going to be very light. It wasn't going to be following a schedule. I was going to release episodes when I wanted to. So I'm sticking true to that. If you made it all the way here, thank you, because 2 years is 2 years, man. And I plan on keeping it going, doing it the way that I'm doing it, just for fun, no agenda, no nothing, just real conversation, because that's how I like to get down. So thanks for everybody that's tapped in, that's listened, supported, send a message, sent a comment, send it to a friend, send it to a family member, all that, like, subscribe, whatever. I appreciate the love, the support, and obviously to all my guests that have been on. I'm kind of biased, but I think I've had a pretty good guest list. So thanks to everybody that's tapped in and come through as guests. We're gonna keep this rolling as only I know how to. So appreciate y'all. Here's to many more, and to this becoming whatever I want it to be or not. It doesn't matter. That's not why we're here, though. Like I said, if you are watching on YouTube, you know what I'm rocking and I'm wearing. And if you are listening, I'm going to explain to you what I'm wearing. This is a Tom Brady New England Patriots jersey from the greatest Super Bowl comeback ever, when the Patriots beat the Atlanta Falcons. You remember 28-3, sorry to the Falcons fans and all that. Listen, I know maybe some of y'all are here for soccer. This is an American football conversation. So if you're going to tap out now, I'm sorry. I'll see you next time. But if you're here for football, and specifically here for New England Patriots football, you are at the perfect spot, because to the dismay of many haters and everybody that likes to root against New England and Boston sports and all of the above, we're back. Guess who's going to the Super Bowl again? That's right, the New England Patriots. After so many arduous years of rebuilding, maybe like what, 5? The Buffalo Bills thought they had the division on lock. You know, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs running the AFC. A little bit too much for y'all. We don't drafted a quarterback in Mac Jones, got rid of a quarterback in Mac Jones. Gerard Mayo got hired as head coach. Salute to Gerard Mayo. Love that guy. Got rid of Gerard Mayo as a head coach. Drafted Drake May, and we are back in the Super Bowl before the Buffalo Bills even made it, before many other teams that were bad then continue to be bad now. We're back, and I know it hurts. I know it hurts. A lot of y'all, fans of all these other teams, I know it hurts, but I'm here to talk about the Patriots today as a homer, as a biased and non-biased New Englander and Boston sports fan. If you don't know, I am a born and raised New Englander, and I'm not going to apologize for that, because I'm going to start with this. The funny thing that I always think about when it comes to the Patriots is I know that there's been a lot of hate over the years, and it's rightfully so, right? Like Tom Brady and Bill Belichick terrorized the NFL for 20 years and went on these crazy runs for Super Bowls and all of these things, and teams really were trying and couldn't get through, right? It was the Patriots and everybody else. And I know as a fan of a sport that's tough, and it gives you a reason to hate a team or hate a franchise. But people try to say, oh, well, it's the fans and this and that. We're spoiled, man. What do you want us to do? What do you want me to do with where I was born and raised, man? Shout out to Big 401 Rhode Island. But listen, it's just the greatness that comes from Titletown, USA. Y'all could battle for who has the second best fan base in all these sports. You know who has the first across the board. It's us. And we are back in full force. And once again, like I said, I know it hurts, but we got to talk about it, right? Because there's such a beautiful thing about a process to get to a Super Bowl. And unlike the ones in the past for the Patriots, where Tom Brady and Bill Belichick were dominating the league and expected to win the majority of those Super Bowls, maybe besides one or two, this was a whole different journey for the Patriots. And I think as a fan, I'm speaking for myself, and I'm sure for many here, that this process has been so different and so much, I don't want to say more enjoyable, but just so different that it's a different enjoyment because of how we got there, of the unexpected nature of the Patriots making a Super Bowl run this soon again, right after this Tom Brady run had just ended, and it started to seem like this rebuild in Foxborough was going to take a sour turn. I mean, we're talking about a team who's coming off consecutive 4-13 seasons, who flipped the switch right away under head coach Mike Vrabel, Patriots legend. Salute to that guy. And in the Super Bowl, like, so there's so much to discuss. There's so much to discuss, but I wanted to start with the New England portion of it because I understand the cyclical nature of being a sports fan and hating and trying to be a troll. And I'm gonna bring up the New York Yankees in this because there's so many Yankees fans that love to drag the 27 rings argument and whatever, man. If that's your narrative, cool. I'm not gonna knock it. But my thing is always, of those championships, which ones did you see? What were you alive for? What do championships in the 50s and 60s matter, right? To me, those don't matter. I was not anywhere close to being on this earth. So, like with the Celtics, they have 18 championships. Cool. I love it. Dominance. It sets a standard for the franchise, but those titles back in the day don't do nothing for me personally. But I will bring you some numbers if you need them. I've seen the Celtics play in 4 NBA finals since I've been alive and win 2 of them. I've seen the Boston Red Sox play in 4 World Series since I've been alive and win all 4 of them. I've seen the Boston Bruins, if I'm not mistaken, this is quick math off the top of my head, play in 3 Stanley Cup finals and win 1 of them. Salute to that Boston Bruins team, near and dear to my heart because I was covering the team that year. They won the Stanley Cup final as a college student in Boston, so that was great. And I am soon to see the Patriots play in their 10th Super Bowl, and they have won 6 of them so far, and hopefully it'll be 7 soon, since I've been alive. I say that to say, sure, y'all can hate us if you want. Numbers are numbers. I got to give them. Now, here's the point. The Super Bowl is a beautiful thing because it's a culmination of this long season where we know every week in the NFL really does mean something. And there's so many games throughout the year that have these incredible implications towards the latter end of the year that you might not know in the moment, but they end up being a big deal. Case in point, the Patriots losing to the Oakland Raiders in the first game of the season this year ends up basically being a difference maker for them getting the 1 seed opposed to the 2 seed, which had them travel to Denver for the AFC Championship instead of playing it at Gillette and Foxborough, which weather-wise, I don't know. We'll get to that in a second. All I'm trying to say is that there are so many points that a season that have to happen, highs and lows, and for you to get to the Super Bowl is a super, super big accomplishment. So salute to the Patriots for doing it. Salute to the Seahawks for doing it. Listen, man, people like to say the Patriots schedule was easy. Sure it was. They played some weak teams, Titans. They played the NFC South, which had some pretty bad teams all year round. Salute to the Panthers, though. The Bengals weren't good. The Giants weren't good. You play who you play, right? That's one thing. But you still have to go out there and do your job and still have to do it at a good clip to get to the Super Bowl. So don't take merit away from the Patriots too much because of all these outlying factors. I'll get to that a little later as well. The bad thing about the Super Bowl is that we have these 2 weeks in between. That is just fodder. It's people filling up. It's talk show hosts. It is just trying to make storylines out of everything, which, of course, it happens every year. It's a Super Bowl. You have this extended break to do so. But my issue with it is that you get people who did not watch certain teams throughout the season start to talk about certain teams because they've watched them in the playoffs and make a wide judgment about that team. Now, you may have seen the Patriots in the playoffs, and if you did, you're probably thinking this defense is good and the offense is trash. And if you look at it on paper, that's literally what has happened in the playoffs so far. But there's so many other factors. And you also can't discount the fact that Drake May is a legitimate MVP candidate in his second year in the league because he had a great season. He threw 4,000 yards. He had 31 touchdowns, QB rating through the roof. Regardless of who they played, who they didn't play, New England Patriots went 14-3 in this dominant run this dominant run to get to the Super Bowl, which is unexpected because me and maybe the most optimistic Patriots fan in the world probably saw this team winning about 8 or 9 games tops this season. I thought we would be better than last year. I didn't think we would be this good this fast. And if you said you did believe that, you're lying. I know you're lying. And guess what? It doesn't matter because we're here anyway, and it's over for y'all. But you have to think of the Patriots season in a nutshell. I mean, so many things happened. I think that win in Buffalo, Sunday Night Football, I believe it was probably the start of like this might be something special. And that was early on in the year. It might have been Game 5, something like that, Week 5. So after that, they just went on this unprecedented run, just winning games. As I mentioned, opponents may not have been great, but after that, they only lost one game. The last game they lost was to the Buffalo Bills. That was a close 35-31 loss. And since then, it's been back on the up. Now I know there's so much to talk about. So let's start with the fact that this Patriots team. I want to bring this back because I was actually just thinking. I watch a lot of football during the regular season. It's my favorite sport to watch and follow, and I was thinking about different ways to approach this conversation, this topic, because there's so much that I could talk about here personally. But I want to bring it back to the preseason, right? The preseason. Gillette Stadium, August 8th, 2025. The first play of the season for the New England Patriots. First play of the season, which is the preseason, but first play of the year. Travion Henderson, 100-yard kickoff return to start the year against the Washington Commanders. The tone was set from the very first play of the season. And a lot of y'all probably like, what the hell? That is a blast from the past. I remember. We remember. The North remembers, all right? The tone was set. Travion Henderson was a great draft pick, and we haven't been able to say that as Patriots fans for a long time, but rookie, great draft pick. He actually ended up having a big part of the season towards the latter end of the schedule when Ramondre Stevenson was hurt, and Henderson just basically had his coming out party and had some great games there, November, December range. And here we are once again in the Super Bowl. I have to keep reminding y'all in case y'all forget the Patriots are in the Super Bowl. And if you need any, more of a reminder, once again, if you're watching on YouTube, right here, it's on the patch. I wore it on purpose. But let's start with the playoffs as a whole for the Patriots. The conversation that I've heard prominently is, well, they haven't played anybody. It's been an easy road, yada, 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 yada. It's always something, it's always something when it comes to Boston sports teams. And I know this comes with the nature of hating and wanting them to not do well because we've done so well in the past. But in 2024, it was the same thing with the Boston Celtics. There were so many narratives that the Celtics didn't play anybody, that it was an easy road, this and that and this. And guess what? That banner, 2004 NBA champions, is hanging at the rafters, at TD Garden. We don't care. We don't care what the narrative is. We want to raise the banner. And if that banner is raised, it doesn't matter what they say, who you went through, who you didn't go through. That stuff is, to me, is foolish because you're basically discrediting a team that has to go out there and put together a incredible year, whatever sport you're talking about, to get to a championship stage and then never mind win the championship, right? And for this Patriots team specifically, is not the same as the Boston Celtics in 2024 because the Boston Celtics in 2024 were the best team in the NBA and nobody was beating them, point blank, period. This New England Patriots team was not supposed to be one of the best teams in the NFL this year. And here we are in the Super Bowl, in case y'all need another reminder. The AFC was there for Josh Allen, the same Josh Allen that everybody loves to praise. I am one of them because I'm a big Josh Allen fan who wasn't able to get the job done. It was there for Lamar Jackson, who went through injuries, wasn't able to get the job done. It was there for the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, who unfortunately suffered ACL injury, wasn't able to get the job done. You could have picked a handful of teams in the AFC before you would have picked the Patriots to get to this stage. So stop with the discrediting and who we played, who we didn't play. That's just a lazy cop-out to me. But once again, I do understand why, and everything does have to be said. So y'all can continue with that narrative. But as I'm saying, the playoffs start with the Chargers. The Chargers defense, one of the best in the NFL. Justin Herbert didn't look great. Patriots defense, one of the best in the NFL, although people are not talking about it, made Justin Herbert look terrible. I understand 2 massive injuries on the offensive line for Justin Herbert. Patriots win that game at Gillette Stadium. The first playoff game at Gillette Stadium in over, I believe, 6 years, something like that. It's incredible to get back to that stage. Trust me, I know how much it means to the region and how much it means to the organization to be able to do that. Then the division around, you get the Houston Texans, where people say, well, you know what? The Chargers game was weird. It was a 16-3 game, whatever. But, oh, wait, here come the Texans. The Texans have a great defense, y'all. I think this is it. The Patriots haven't played nobody. The Texans defenses, they're the ones. They got it. You know what I mean? This is the team that's going to do it. I'm sorry, the Patriots ain't going to be able to. And what happens? Same difference. The Patriots defense shows that it's also great, and I will give credit to the Texans defense in this game because they did look pretty damn good, and Drake May make some pretty bad decisions. At the end of the day, guess who made worse decisions? CJ Stroud. And that isn't just because he was shook and playing in Foxborough. That's because of who he was playing against. It's a 28-16 win for the New England Patriots, going back to the AFC Championship game. But as I mentioned earlier, the difference in the regular season, maybe losing to the Raiders, made the Patriots have to travel to Denver instead of hosting that game at Foxborough. The unfortunate event is that Bo Nix got injured in his game against the Bills, starting quarterback for the Broncos. So the Patriots at the AFC Championship game, as if the narrative wasn't already draining enough, are going up against a backup quarterback. A backup quarterback who used to play for Josh McDaniels, who used to play for the New England Patriots. He was a backup quarterback to Tom Brady way back when. And listen, man, it's the same conversation. Well, Denver's defense is really good. Patrick Surtain, they have a great offensive line. Same conversation, same result. Now that game, the AFC Championship, was ugly. It was weird. It was a 10-7 victory. If you're adding these numbers up, it doesn't look pretty on paper. As I mentioned, if you just watch the Patriots in the playoffs, you're probably like, what the hell is this team? But that's why you have to watch regular season football, because regular season football matters. The Patriots AFC Championship game in Denver was a tale of two halves. The first half, the Patriots offense looked terrible. Jarrett Stidham had one good drive, threw a great touchdown on that drive, and the Broncos were up. And then Sean Payton, the head coach, got a little greedy. Instead of going for a field goal that would have made it a 2-possession game, he decided to go for it on 4th down. The Patriots defense stopped him because the Patriots defense is elite. The Patriots defense is elite. I'll repeat that again in case you didn't hear me. And then the game just unfolds crazy. In the second half, it starts snowing. If you watch that game, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you didn't, please just go look at the images. The difference between the first quarter, the third quarter, and the fourth quarter, it was brutal. At some point in that game, football just stopped being played, right? Football just stopped being played. And Drake May was able to get a touchdown that tied the game 7-7. And that's basically what we were standing at, 7-7, until, somebody was able to get a field goal or do something. Luckily, the Patriots were able to get that field goal and then just kind of ride it out. And that's literally what they did in a hostile environment, in terrible conditions. And I understand people criticizing that, but listen, that might be as tough of a battle as you're going to get in one of these games where you can't play football because of the weather conditions. That is playoff football in certain parts of the U.S., right? And the Patriots and the Broncos as well decided, we're done playing football at a certain point in this game because it's just impossible. And let's just run the ball and let's just try to do what we could do and get out of here. And if Sean Payton would have kicked that field goal, we'd be talking about a 10-10 game, maybe going to overtime. They didn't kick the field goal. The Patriots got the stop. The Patriots come up with a massive, massive tipped field goal block against Will Lutz. Because storylines are so great, and this is football. Leonard Taylor III gets his fingertips on this Will Lutz field goal attempt. Leonard Taylor III was cut by the New York Football Jets in October and was basically a practice squad guy for the Patriots, got called up for the AFC Championship game and ends up having a massive play that, in result, turns into the Patriots going to the Super Bowl. He went from the New York Jets to the Patriots in the same division to the Super Bowl. Facts. Just got to give them. Then what happens? You get a Christian Gonzalez interception on probably the play that Jarrett Stidham looked the worst in all the game. He kind of just threw it up there. But once again, you can't really fault him for the weather conditions and being nervous. And at this point of the game, throws it up. Christian Gonzalez gets the interception. And then the play that everybody is talking about and that just is watching it on replay is the fake handoff to Ramondre Stevenson. Drake May rolls out to the left, first down, end of the game, ices it, victory formation, AFC champions, Patriots back to the Super Bowl. I love that play for a lot of reasons because as conservative as the play calling was in that game at that moment, because of the snow and because of the weather, Josh McDaniels, the Patriots offensive coordinator, decided to take a risk. And apparently from the reporting, it was a secret between him and Drake May. They did not tell anybody in the huddle. They called the play, which was the Ramondre Stevenson handoff to the right. And Drake May and Josh McDaniels kept the secret that they were going to go roll out and ice the game. They just needed a first down, and that's what they got. So all around great aggressive coaching from the Patriots sideline, which is what they've been doing all year. They've been doing it all year on both sides of the ball. The Patriots under Mike Vrabel had just been a completely, I don't want to say different, but just such a breath of fresh air in that franchise. And there's a lot of reasons there, all right? Mike Vrabel is a franchise legend who has won Super Bowls with the New England Patriots, who knows what it means to play at Gillette Stadium in January, who knows what it means to lift the Lombardi Trophy after having his own struggles early on in his career. So there's so many ways that he's able to translate to these players, and that organization, everybody just bought into it early, and you could see it's translated in his energy and him, hugging and high-fiving players after games. This is a coach that was at Tennessee, right? And Tennessee let him go. And you knew he was coming home. It was a matter of time. He was coming home to New England. But I just don't think that anybody was able to rationalize or even predict that this was going to happen the way it did so quickly. But here we are, right? So salute to all the other teams in the AFC, the champs, AFC champions, once again, as if with the Brady years, we didn't have enough years of winning the AFC championship. We are back. But, as I believe it was Devin McCourty said on TV earlier this season, in New England, we count Super Bowls, man. We're not celebrating these conference titles so much. We, of course, are happy that it has happened because it was unexpected. But, the one that we want. We want to put number 7 up there right next to the lighthouse in Foxborough. Now, there's so many cool things about Super Bowls because this is a Super Bowl rematch, right? And if you remember Super Bowl 49, the Patriots and the Seahawks, I'm sure you remember because the Patriots have had so many Super Bowls they've played in. And the fact of the matter is this: as a fan, you have these little moments, right, that you remember of certain things. It's just as a sports fan in general. But winning so many Super Bowls, obviously, there are moments in Super Bowl history that just stick into your mind. And I'm talking about from the first one against the Rams to the last one we played against the Rams. But man, Super Bowl 49 against the Seahawks, I think that one I experienced more so than the Falcons one, I believe. I experienced every bit of emotion known to man, known to human being, known to mankind, because when Curse made that ridiculous catch on the sideline, I'm like, yo, we are really about to lose this game. And credit to the Legion of Boom back then. That was a hell of a defense. You go through this drive and you're like, man, this is happening. Another crazy catch as somebody who has seen David Tyree and Mario Manningham crazy catches in Super Bowls, or see Nick Foles, a backup quarterback, go crazy on the Patriots and win a Super Bowl. I'm like, this can't be happening, right? That Curse catch I think that was when I was like, yeah, we lost this game. So you go from being on this high, like we make a few stops, this is over, we win the Super Bowl again, to, man, we lost. And now it's just a matter of time before they march it up the field, which they did, and they get onto the goal line, and you're like, well, Marshawn Lynch is in the backfield. They're going to hand the ball off. This game is good as dusted. And then you get one of the greatest plays in Super Bowl history where, for some odd reason, the Seahawks sideline decided to throw a slant pass, and Russell Wilson was intercepted by the Malcolm Butler on the goal line, and the rest is history. Tom Brady is Super Bowl champion again. The Seahawks lose. Should have ran the ball. Didn't run the ball. So be it. So this is a rematch of that Super Bowl, which is great. You get another chance to see these two teams, which, shout out to the Seattle Seahawks. Been great all season. You have to give them a lot of credit. JSN, best receiver in the league all year. Sam Darnold, another great season. And listen, we could talk about, well, it's still Sam Darnold. There's a chance that he could revert, but the way he looked against the Rams, he was locked in, right? It's still Sam Darnold. I'm going to put that out there just as a disclaimer, but we got to give that man credit. It's a great comeback story. I'm not going to hate on it. Now, the thing I love about Super Bowls is there's so many little storylines. And check this one out. That was Super Bowl 49. Super Bowl 50 was played at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, California, which is exactly where Super Bowl 60 will be played, which is this one coming up. Super Bowl 50 in 2016 was the Denver Broncos, led by the Peyton Manning, against the Carolina Panthers, Cam Newton's Carolina Panthers. That Super Bowl, Drake May, current quarterback for the Patriots, and his dad, I guess his dad made him a promise and said they're Charlotte, North Carolina. That's a family from Charlotte, North Carolina. So they're North Carolina people, big Panthers fans. His dad made him a promise. I believe Drake May said he was in the 7th grade when this happened. His dad made him a promise that if the Panthers made it to the Super Bowl, they would go. So Drake May and his dad went to Super Bowl 50 at Levi Stadium to watch the Panthers lose to the Broncos, and that was that as a football fan. 10 years later, same venue, Drake May is going to play in the Super Bowl. I love it. These stories are like, you can't make this stuff up. You can't script it. It is what makes sports so great. It's what makes the sport of football so great, because that is just amazing. Just an amazing story. And it's one of my favorite stories that's come out so far. But back to the task at hand is simple, right? Go out there, play a football game. The only thing I want to say, I'm not going to start analyzing things in X's and O's because that's a little too much for me in this platform at this time. But I will say this, man. You have to, after all the stuff that's gone through, that Patriots have gone through this season, after all the opponents they've gone through in the playoffs, you have to stop sleeping on their defense, because you could make up whatever narrative you want, and it's easy to make the narrative fit for you. Trust me, it is. But this team has allowed only 26 points in 3 games in the playoffs. That's pretty damn good. All right, that's pretty damn good. You have to give credit to the players they have on defense. It is a squad. It is no coincidence that this team is in the Super Bowl, right? Sure, it's shocking, but it's not a coincidence, because the Patriots defense has been great all year. They have great players. We have the Christians and Gonzalez and Barmore and Ellis. You have Marcus Jones, who has been a piece, and let's say special teams as well. Robert Spillane, who hopefully is good to go for the Super Bowl. I think he should be. Little injury in Denver, but I think he should be good to go. Milton Williams, like, these are players that, unlike the Patriots Super Bowl runs in the past, like the Teddy Bruschi's and the Ty Laws and the Rodney Harrisons, McGinnis and Vrabels, they're not names that jump out at you, but this is a very, very solid defensive unit. They've been holding their own, and now they have this chip on their shoulder because people are referring to this team as kind of just like lucky to be there. And it's like, cool, whatever. We'll keep being lucky to be there, but look where we are now, right? Offensively, it's the same thing that really I've been kind of concerned about all year with the Patriots, where it's like Drake May looked amazing, but his weapons on offense aren't up to the caliber as, let's say, some other teams around the league. Yeah, let's even with the Seahawks. So you have JSN, you have Rashid Shaheed, who was a great midseason trade for the Seahawks, fast weapon who could at any moment let loose on a big play. Cooper Kupp is there. They have a good backfield. They have one running back that is going to be out for this game, unfortunately, through injury. But my thing is this, man. If Drake May is able to get to the Super Bowl with Stephon Diggs, who, salute to Stephon Diggs, amazing season, over 1,000 yards receiving. Stephon Diggs being your number one. And then you have guys like Keyshawn Boutte and Pop Douglas, Mac Hollins. Like, these are the guys we're talking about who Drake May's throwing the ball to. This is starting to feel a little reminiscent of the Tom Brady years, where you're like, okay, sure, maybe he had the Wes Welkers or he had Randy Moss that one year, but there was some guys in some of those teams that you're like, what's going on? And I think even Drake May's weapons are not as good as some of the ones that Brady had back then. But you have all the year to go off, and you have this camaraderie, and you have these, I guess, norms and these understanding of what this team is. This is one more game, and you got to go win one more game. It's the toughest one to win, but you can't tell me that, oh, well, because the Seahawks have a good defense and they have a good offense, this game is not going to be close. Like, this is, I foresee it being a pretty good football game. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't feel confidently one way or another. But I do foresee it being a good football game because after all of the criticism you want to throw on the New England Patriots, an incredible season that's gotten them to this point. And my main point is Drake May is not an MVP candidate for no reason. It's not out of nowhere. This guy he's good. He's really, really good. Fundamentally, a really good quarterback. And we haven't been able to see that in the playoffs because of weather conditions and because he's played tough defenses. Hopefully, the weather in Santa Clara is comfortable. And if it is, you're going to see him air the rock out. You're going to see him do what he's been doing all season, and that is step up in the pocket, make some tough throws, move if he needs to, get out of the pocket, use his feet, and really be a factor because that's what he's done all year. And my X factor for this game for both sides is the running game. Like if the Patriots could get Ramondre Stevenson and Travion Henderson, who I mentioned had that 100-yard kickoff return, if they could get him involved and have one or two big plays from him, I like our chances. I like us, man. I like us. But it's the same thing. If the Seahawks are able to run the ball well, then I like their chances as well. So there's no preview here. There's no nothing here. This is just a lot of rambling for me to say, y'all could keep hating. We are back. And it's tough because this Super Bowl, to me, I don't even think I'll be mad if we lose the Super Bowl because we play with house money. We weren't supposed to be here, man. We weren't supposed to be here. It was supposed to be Josh Allen. It was supposed to be Lamar Jackson. It's supposed to be Patrick Mahomes, perhaps. And instead, it's Mike Vrabel leading Drake May and the New England Patriots back to the Super Bowl. So I'm going to leave it at that. I hope y'all enjoy the game. I know I will. I know I will. And like I said, keep hating if you want. It's all good. I understand it. Yeah, I wish y'all were in our position, but you're not. But just remember, it could always be worse. You could always be a Jets fan who you saw. A former player they cut had a tipped field goal block, is now playing in the Super Bowl. One of your biggest ops in the division is back in the Super Bowl and is playing against a former quarterback of yours, Sam Darnold. It could always be worse. You could always be a Jets fan. Peace.